We will take a close look at regulatory impediments to blockchain, stablecoins, and new payment systems. And we will consider reforms to unleash the awesome power of the American capital markets. Americans deserve a financial services industry that works for all Americans, including and especially Main Street. Under President Trump's leadership, the Treasury Department and I will deliver that to you. Thank you. We are going to put a lot of thought into the stablecoin regime, and as President Trump has directed, we are going to keep the U.S. the dominant reserve currency in the world, and we will use stablecoins to do that. Thank you.
Evolution of money, ladies and gentlemen, is underway, and with that, a great opportunity presents itself in those cryptocurrencies that are going to enable this. And what is the evolution of money? Well, it is stablecoins and CBDCs that are crypto-enabled currencies. You want to think of this as a technology that innovates money itself. So, for example, with the printing press, you saw the rise of notary money. Then with the spawn of the internet and computers, you saw digital money. And now we're moving on to a crypto-enabled money. And with that, there is a major opportunity. This technology is particularly special because not only is it a technological advancement, it is also entirely revolutionizing the financial system, which actually the internet did broadly, but since, and not entirely, but really since that initial kind of innovation with the internet, it's really been stagnant. And the new innovation is here. Cryptocurrencies are going to enable it. Personally, I'm positioned. I am overweight cryptocurrencies that I believe are going to help play a role in what Scott Bessent laid out there. Because the United States is the most powerful country in the world. Scott Bessent, and we've played that clip, got to be 30 times now. Scott Bessent literally said they are going to use stablecoins to maintain dollar dominance. He's also said they're going to use it to lower interest rates through purchasing bonds. We're talking trillion dollar markets here that are being innovated. And I make this video and start with that because just yesterday we had some more news and more confirmation. Not that we need any in regards to the evolution of money. And that is that MasterCard, today, we announce our end-to-end capabilities to support stablecoins, ensuring payments can be made and received using them anytime, anywhere, alongside proven leaders across Web3, finance, and fintech. We're empowering customers or consumers and businesses to use stablecoins as easily as the money in their bank accounts. And then it goes on to here's why, and it talks about a whole list of reasons why you may want to use stablecoins. And of course, Circle has been noted again with USDC. It's time to start paying attention. And actually, I'm here to say to you guys, to go off topic as we love to do here, or to go on a tangent, that the same people that have enabled the digital money that we have today through companies like PayPal, Stripe, whatever it may be, are the same people that actually initially funded companies like XRP and XLM, or companies like Ripple that then, of course, split. Ripple started its life out as OpenCoin, and then there was a split. The story is that Jeb fell out with the sort of Ripple team and went on to do his own thing with Stellar. I think he was just assigned a new mission. Guys, there is a serious opportunity at hand here. And I know what everyone's saying. And I'm thinking, all in, you are somebody that came into this space as an early Bitcoiner. 2012 was my first introduction into Bitcoin. How can you be for the opposite of what this space initially set out to do? And I think that is a fair comment. And I wouldn't say I'm for it, but it's inevitable and I'm going to make money in that transition. We have moved so far away from Satoshi's vision in regards to what this technology is being used for, that it is ironic to be a Bitcoin maximalist right now. Because not even Bitcoin is following Satoshi's initial vision. We lose a lot of people, get a lot of flack for saying that, but I do think that if you believe something to be true, you shouldn't hide it. You should come out and say it. So huge news in regards to stablecoins. MasterCard, just another domino that is falling. These guys have already looked and probably done pilots with, of course, Ripple and Stellar Lumens, the SDF, the Stellar Development Foundation. There are more cryptocurrencies out there that are going to play a role in the kind of evolution of money. And I think I watched a clip ages ago and it spoke about meme coins and actually the fact that they might be a kind of pilot for mass adoption of sort of something like stable coins in regards to transaction volumes. And a lot of that has happened on certain chains, which we'll leave for there. So I want to start the video off there because I honestly think this is one of the biggest opportunities that's presenting itself right now. If you want to join the Patreon and find out what I hold, do check the link in the description. Although we talk about a lot of the cryptocurrencies on this channel on a regular basis. You know, and there's not just an evolution of money, but an evolution of assets that's to take place as well. And there's just so much opportunity. It always winds me up when people are disgruntled and kind of upset about being in the cryptocurrency space, and almost ungrateful, because I think the only real way to look at this is an opportunity, and good things don't come easy. And there's going to be trials and tribulations, but having that bigger picture, which we try and impress on people on this channel, is vital. And then sort of mirroring up fundamentally what's happening with technically looking at the charts and what they're predicting. Bingo. When it walks, talks, and quacks like a duck, it's a duck. Other news. Yesterday, we looked at CoinShares inflow report, and we saw the third largest week on record. Now, speaking about everything that's going on, XRP was a real standout, wasn't it? And has been for the past few months, despite general inflows for the cryptocurrency space. I wonder why. I wonder who's buying these ETPs. It's certainly not retail, I would say. But to continue on from this, and this is from Eric Balanchunas, damn, ETFs are in 2 steps forward mode after taking 1 step back, which is a pattern we predicted from the get-go. And this is, he's referring to Nate Garcia here. Nearly 1 billion in ISO shares has been bought today. Second largest inflows since January 2024. So over a year ago. Wow. I mean, how much more obvious could it be? And then when you come over to the charts and you look at what we're looking at, we looked at this falling wedge as a setup for continuation. We didn't just look at Bitcoin that had this wedge present. We looked at the likes of MicroStrategy, which may become one of the greatest shorts of all time at one point, but that's for another video. And we said continuation is coming for this. And we looked at a number of cryptocurrencies out there across the board. We looked at ETPs in the form of Grayscale Digital Large Cap Fund. They met with the SEC yesterday, by the way, to talk about staking. You know, this is a 3 daily chart, but you can see Grayscale Digital Large Cap Fund, Bitwise Top 10 Crypto Index, and of course 21 shares and all the kind of totals. But Bitcoin certainly had it present, and it kind of filters into the broader pattern that we have for Bitcoin and the broader revolution that is taking place. And it's beautiful when things come together like technical analysis and what that would predict where a market's going and a fundamental story that sees it get there. It's kind of like shooting fish in a barrel almost. So we are expecting continuation. I think you're on the cusp of it. The market's pulled back slightly yesterday. I think this was just due to the S&P kind of not making its mind up. The S&P has, of course, retraced over 50% of its pullback thus far. We highlighted the fact that no one's talking about that. Everyone just talks about the downside. There is a gap here that I'm a little bit dubious of. However, I actually think it's more probable that the S&P 500 is going to recover. That's going to have ramifications for the markets more broadly. Generally, the recovery likely is on at this point. Certainly for the cryptocurrency space, despite all the uncertainty, based on what we were looking at technically, we've been very vocal about what's about to happen to it in regards to price and the fact that we thought a pullback, the pullback has now come to an end and continuation is on the cards. The S&P, I'm still a little bit uncertain about. I think there's still a lot of uncertainty and 2 paths ahead in regards to tariffs. You've got the literal implementation and escalation, which we're kind of seeing from China and the US, or you've got the resolution, which we're seeing from resolution and kind of negotiations, which may result in lower tariffs across the board, which we're seeing from about 135 countries now that have opened a dialogue in regards to these tariffs. And the 90-day pause was a big, I guess, win for the markets in terms of sort of scenario 2, if you will. So there's multiple different paradigms going on at the moment. We try and keep you up to date with them, but of course, we try and keep these market updates digestible in regards to the size of them. It is huge news in regards to what MasterCard announced. It's just another big player, more confirmation in what is taking place today. And why are we going to see that evolution of money? Not only is it more efficient, we have a major issue with our financial system in regards to the debt markets, in regards to the proliferation of it, which actually will only get amplified, I think, with stablecoins. I think stablecoins now account for 1% of US M2. That's only going to grow. That's going to issue more money. And you're actually going to end up in this interesting world where it's not just central banks issuing money, it's private companies. but they're doing it in much the same way that banks do through utilizing and using the debt. It really is an exciting time to be alive, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all on board this train. That is it from me. We just wanted to bring a short and sweet update. Huge news from MasterCard. It aligns with what we already know. We're seeing institutions just continue to gobble up crypto, and that is only going to accelerate. And there is something fundamental coming in the form of ETF approvals that is going to do marvelous things for the cryptocurrency space. It's going to unlock a lot of capital that hasn't already been unlocked. And actually, in regards to the cryptocurrency space, it's not even touched where the majority of capital is in regards to investors being people 65 and older. That is all still to come, and this asset is still to be established. That's a really bullish, broad overview of where it's going. As it relates to the charts, we're just waiting for these wedges to play out. They are playing out. We're still yet to see what happens with the stock market, i.e. the S&P 500, but we are seeing some positive signs. I think crypto just pulled back a little bit on the back end of the S&P. We're looking for fundamental news that's going to drive all of that. That's it from me, guys. I'm going to love and leave you. Have a smashing Tuesday, and I'll see you in the next one.